Welcome to Retro Ordinaire, a trawl through the bottom drawer of entertainment history. My name is Jason Chong. I host this show with that guy, Scott John. Hello.
Hi, Jason. How are you, buddy-o?
Very good.
It's been a little while.
Yes.
Good to be back.
It is good to be back. Now, it has been a little while, and we are trying to rectify this, so there's a bit of a change in the format now.
Right.
We went from, what was it, 4 segments?
4, and then we went to 3.
3.
Now we're doing 1.
Yeah.
1 per episode.
1.
Which hopefully will hold your attention. We've thought that some of the feedback coming back indicated that perhaps the episodes were a little bit long.
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
Or that people just wanted more of them. That's how I would have reframed that. Okay. So all we're doing is we're just cutting them into tinier bits.
Tiny little morsels.
Yes, and giving to... So the illusion will be that there's actually... more content.
Yes.
But there's not.
There definitely isn't.
It's just... You know what you'll get? You'll get more intros.
Good. So we're just going to drag everything out.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Today's show, what's happening?
Today we are doing the musical career of Mr. T. So we're not looking at his TV work or his wonderful movies.
Or his animated past.
No, none of that. Just the music.
Just the music.
Just the music, all right? So that's what we're doing.
Okay, that and only that.
Only that.
No other segments.
Nothing else. So if you're not interested in the music of Mr. T, cheerio.
Skip ahead.
All right, go enjoy.
Do your true crime thing.
Yes.
You're always banging on about that no one cares about.
No, we're only here for Mr. T's music. So we're doing the music of Mr. T, as we've clarified in great detail. So I did think, though, I know that I said we're only going to concentrate on his music, but we should first of all give a quick potted history of who Mr. T is.
To contextualise this history.
Absolutely. So I thought I'd do that to the tune of the A-Team theme,
Amazing.
if that's all right with you. So this is the Mr. T story. Mr. T, strong and good, born in Chicago in 1952. His real name is Lawrence Turow. He's the oldest of 12. Started his career as a bodyguard for Steve McQueen and Diana Ross in 1980. He grew a mohawk in 82. He met Sylvester Stallone, who gave him a role in Rocky 3. He liked Mr. T's attitude and his muscle tone. Soon, Mr. T was a star now. He got a role on the A-Team. He really thrived there, and he took no jibber jabber, and he treated fools. Mr. T was the man. He had a range of dolls and his own cartoon. He was really down with the kids. He is a hero. He is Mr. T.
I'm so happy at the moment.
So that's the history of Mr. T.
And you just made that up on the spot then, didn't you?
Yeah. I just, it just came to mind and thought I'd throw that off. All right. So he only had... His discography is 2 albums.
Right.
Both in 1984.
Oh.
So he had a burst of energy, 2 albums, and that was it.
Oh, man.
2 and out.
He could have released like a double debut album and then nothing else if he'd done them together.
That's right. So the first one is Mr. T's Commandments from 1984.
Right.
A wonderful album. You can see him there on the cover.
Oh, yeah?
Have a look at that.
You've printed out a little sheet.
I printed it out just for you.
You look like you've got the world's worst kind of like oral presentation.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you... Just describe the cover there if you can.
Okay, so he's in front of a chainmail fence, like the kind of like neighborhood basketball kind of court.
Yes.
In urban America. He's got a couple...
possibly a prison for children, I'm not sure.
It absolutely could be. Although there's some like kind of nice houses in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know. So he's in front of he's got his arm around 2 or 3 kids in the front sitting on a bench. And then behind us, are they hoodlums in the back?
I think so.
They're smiling though.
Yeah. Or
there are kids in front and behind the fence.
That's right. Perhaps it's the detention centre. And Mr. T's there just...
Doing some social
biding
work.
his time about to release the kiddies.
Doing some court-ordered work.
That's right. So basically, Mr. T's Commandments is an album of Mr. T rapping and explaining his rules on living.
Yeah.
And to summarise the album, he's saying, say no to drugs and strangers and say yes to homework and parents. That's the key message in this. And apparently this album is now worth about $50 on eBay.
Okay.
If you've got a copy. Do you have a copy?
No.
No?
You seem to have these odd kind of albums. Is there something that you would chase down?
No, I wish I did, because I could do with $50. But Mr. T didn't write any of the lyrics.
Of course not.
Have a guess who the lyrics were.
Bernie Taupin and Elton John.
No, Ice-T.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a relation, but Ice-T, before he became the most influential gangster rapper of all time.
Really?
Such was the Midas touch of Mr. T that had that influence on his career.
Now, I've heard a little bit of this, and do you think that Ice-T would be happy with the result?
I don't know. He should be proud, though. Have a listen to this. This is track 1, Mr. T's Commandments, and I've been very thoughtful to the listeners and tried to keep the cuts to about 20 seconds of each song, just to give you a taste.
So just skip ahead if you don't like it.
All right, so this is Mr. T's Commandments, track 1.
Believe it, every word is true. I can talk all day, but the rest is up to you. Honor thy mother and father. The Bible makes it clear. If you break the rule, God help you prove that Mr. T to fear.
It's a bit hard to understand, but the lyrics say, the Bible makes it clear, if you break the rule, God help you, fool, you got Mr. T to fear. Which, was that in the Old or New Testament? Can you remember? We're going to bang through, because this is the new look retro ordinaire.
Yeah.
So no hanging
the
around.
all-new retro ordinaire.
The second track, he's breaking it down to ballad territory. So this
is a... Yeah, okay, now you play it and then I'll comment later.
All right, this is Don't Talk to Strangers.
Okay.
You're walking home from school, and this man drives up, and he's acting real cool. He'll say, you want some candy, or do you need a ride? You just say, no thank you, sir, I'm doing just fine.
That is way too sexy for a song for kids about not getting in cars.
But it's good advice. That's don't talk to strangers.
But honestly, who does a slow jam for kids' messages?
Mr. T. It's the only song on the album, though, where you can actually understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
And that he's not yelling at you. So it's my favourite track of Mr. T's Commandments.
Great, you put it on in the bedroom later on.
But I think, LL Cool J,
yes.
I believe he ripped Mr. T off.
Okay.
This is his hit, I Need Love. Have a listen.
Inside my soul, because my soul is cold. One half of me deserves to be this way till I'm old.
He's ripped Mr. T.
Oh, yeah, okay. Right.
LL Cool J.
Yeah.
One half of me deserves to be this way.
There you go.
There is some similarities there.
Absolutely. He's ripped him off, clearly.
Yeah. Is that song also about not getting in cars, or?
I don't know. I wonder if he's ever been beaten up severely by Mr. T. You don't hear of LL Cool J anymore. It's quite possible that he's...
Well, he's on, like, NCIS or something, isn't he?
No, that's Ice-T, isn't it?
No, he's on Law and Order, SVU.
LL Cool J?
I think.
Really? Is that the career trajectory of 80s and 90s rappers?
I feel like, yeah.
End up in,
when you lose your
cop
street
dramas.
cred. All right, hang on a second. Siri, is LL Cool J on NCIS?
Here's NCIS with LL Cool J.
He's got a track called NCIS.
No, NCIS LA he's on.
LL Cool J with Chris O'Donnell. How about that? That's wonderful. So the next track is Mr. T, the one and only. And this is the only song that doesn't really seem to have a message about, telling you how to live your life.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just telling you how great Mr. T is.
Great.
The one and only Mr. T, I'm bad, I'm mean, I'm tough. I play the part, but I have a heart, I got all the right stuff. I'm a clean, upstanding citizen, I'm loyal through and through. My head so straight, I can't stand hate, and I feel that fools will do. I believe in what I stand for what I believe. That's all that really matters when your name is Mr. T.
Yeah. One of the interesting things about this album is every song he seems to get progressively angrier.
Oh, great.
Angrier and angrier.
Because I'll be honest, I only listened to the first 3, and I'm like, I reckon it's all going to be pretty much like this.
No. Well, he just gets more furious. It sounds... He's got the singing style of someone trying to get birds off their lawn. I don't know if maybe the producers put a rubber band around his testicles or something.
Maybe it's chronological, like how they recorded them, and he was just getting more and more pissed off with the process.
Yes. Let's go straight into the next one. This is this has got a good message. This is no dope, no drugs. All right.
Okay. Isn't that the same thing?
No. Get into this,
Okay.
kiddies.
Mr. Tito snort, Mr. Tito drag. I'm happy just being me. That's right. Now play it smart, stay in school, and leave the dope to the freaks. It's against the law. If you get caught, you just might have to do time. Take it from me, Mr. T. Don't hallucinate up your mind. Everybody say,
He's such a narc. For someone who's supposed to be like this bad attitude, like wrestler, who's like a former, badass and stuff. He's such a wimp. Like, he's such a dork.
Yeah. Do you reckon he was beaten up at school?
I don't know. Like, that's. I think you found like a conundrum. My brain's caught in a loop now. Like, did Mr. T get beaten up at school? I'm like, well, of course he did. No, he can't have. No, but of course he did. No, but he can't have. Yeah, a little bit of inner monologue of Chong there. Well worth your time.
It's quite possible.
Should we start charging for this podcast? I reckon that was worth something. All right, what's track 5?
Track, we're not going to do all of them, by the way. I've only got 2 more.
Oh, okay.
This is
How many on the album? Is it 10? Because it's 10
7.
commandments?
7, which is a really weird number. But when you hear how angry he's getting, I think he must have just
The last 3.
broken the producer's nose after track 7.
Sound effects of him destroying the place.
Yeah. So it's quite a short album.
Okay.
But this is called You Got to Go Through It.
this is T. You better listen to me. Ain't nothing free in the world, but you gotta believe.
I mean, this theory about him leaving halfway through the recording might hold water because the next track, he's not even on.
Really?
He's
Because
not
I'm
there.
thinking, like, you got to go through it might be like him talking, like holding the studio producer up to the glass. You got to go through this.
So the next one is Mr. T, Mr. T.
Yeah.
He was made for love. And by this point, he's buggered off to the pub.
Yeah, maybe he's like just, they kicked him out of the studio to blow off some steam.
Yeah.
He's flipping cars in the car park.
So that track was sung by Tata Vega, who is on the soundtrack to The Colour Purple. She's also in the film Howard the Duck.
Great.
So there you go. You wouldn't learn that from any other podcast. All right, that brings us to the end of that wonderful album.
Amazing.
The 10 Commandments. I don't know why it's called the 10 Commandments. You'd think there'd be 10 tracks on it, but there's not. There's 7, which is slightly weird. But, 5 stars.
And is there a second album as well?
There is a second album, and it's the soundtrack to a 1984, also 1984.
Yeah.
That's his key. That's the year.
that's
the year of the T.
Peak T.
Peak T. He brought out a motivational video. It was hosted by him. It's all
So this is the one that I did watch as well.
Be somebody or be somebody's fool.
Yeah, this was amazing.
And the video came out, MCA home video. There was also a soundtrack and a book.
Oh.
Be somebody or be somebody's fool teaches kids to respect their elders, avoid peer pressure, and build self-confidence. And the cast is quite impressive. It includes Ice-T, Martika, Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas.
Really?
Shanice, a new addition with Bobby Brown. So a star-studded cast.
Is Fergie one of the kids?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because, she wouldn't have been almost born then.
No, Mr. T knew how to spot talent. So this is the title tune from Be Somebody or Be Somebody's Fool, the soundtrack.
If you don't wanna be a crazy fool, you better study real hard and stay in school. Now everybody knows Mr.
and it just goes through and teaches kids about key areas such as shyness, roots, anger, frustration, peer pressure, creating, working out, which is a bit weird, lifting bags of popcorn above his head.
Okay.
Rapping, friendship, and daydreaming.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're all like a series of kind of like sketches or like vignettes of
Yeah.
him hanging out with kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And then something happens and it perfectly illustrates the thing. It's all the set design of like a dream sequence from Saved by the Bell.
Yes.
Like it's... mwah.
It looks like it's got about a $50 budget for the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
film. So here's the intro to the film.
Hey, you with the teeth. Come here. Come over here. That's better. Now I can see you. You know me? Of course you do. That's because I'm famous. But even before I was famous, I was still somebody. And I got respect. See, you don't have to be famous to get respect. You just have to be somebody. And that means being confident in who you are. Being willing to take chances and risk falling on your face. Because that's the only way you're going to learn. And that's what I'm here for. To help you be somebody. Because if you're not somebody, then you're going to be somebody's fool.
Good advice. If I was a motivational speaker, I'm not sure I'd open with, "Hey, you with the teeth."
I think that's how we should open this podcast.
My favourite segment of all of them is styling, which is Mr. T sort of advising you on how to be cool and what to wear.
Oh, okay.
Styling. Hey, everybody got to wear clothes. And if you don't, you'll get arrested.
Which is excellent advice. And then he shows you, he's got a little catwalk and he gets some teenagers to do some modelling. It's like a really...
Yes, I did see this one.
It's like a really shit version of Milan.
Yeah, yeah.
Athena, with her English bowler hat and Japanese kimono. Athena combines the very best of East and West, with more than a dash of American-style know-how. Whether she's fixing her bike or prepping for the prom, she's a living United Nation. But there's no need to vote on this outfit. Thank you, Athena.
She's twirling around at this point.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what was happening.
Yeah.
Is he playing the sax solo?
Yeah, that's him.
All dressed up with no place to go. No sweat, says Kelly. I'll just run around the block a few times. And she probably won't be running alone in this versatile outfit. Perfect for stopping traffic and starting. Who knows what?
Is he implying that he's chasing her around the block?
I think so, yeah. I love that, like, he's obviously reading that probably for the first time.
Yes, it does sound like it.
But it's not that much better than his rapping. Like, can I tell you my favourite one? My favourite one is, I can't remember what it's called, but the segment is about essentially, like, if you screw up in front of people, how to, like, run out of a fall. You know, like,
oh, yes. Yeah,
what's that one called? Is it like, you know, saving yourself in embarrassing situations?
Recouping.
That's right.
And when a child trips on the sidewalk, Dr. T shows how one can preserve your dignity.
Oh yeah, by turning into a
playing it off as a
breakdance
breakdance move.
Yes. And then it happens to Mr. T, and for whatever reason, he just takes off all of his clothes.
Does he? Oh, goodness.
He takes off all of his clothes and he's just got like this little tight lycra shorts on, and then he starts doing squats like he was working out.
That's problematic.
Yeah, really is.
So can you? I don't know if this video is banned these days.
In a post-Me Tea era.
One of my favourite parts was did you make it to the bit where he's got a group of kids sitting around and he decides to start telling them a story.
Okay.
And he's ripping off Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
But he's trying to make it his own. So have a listen to this.
Well, many years ago, not that many years ago, there was this young man named Ricky. He liked this young lady named Jackie. I guess he was about 17, 18 years old. But they lived on two different parts of town. Ricky lived on the south side of town, and Jackie, she lived on the north side of town. Now, on where Ricky lived at, you know, there was a street gang called the Mighty Midgets. And where Jackie lived at, there was a street gang called the Crazy Cats.
They're the worst names for street gangs possible.
Yeah, when you get arrested, you don't want the officers to laugh when you tell them what gang you're a part of.
The Mighty Midgets. But the most famous part, though, and probably the most viewed part, is a segment on treating your mother right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you know this?
I've heard this before. This is great.
All right, and it starts with this. Mr. T steps in when a couple of kids are having an argument. And
they're doing your mama jokes? Is that right?
The quality of the insults are really pretty high.
Okay.
I think that these kids are going at it. I would have liked to have heard where it went from here, but Mr. T steps in. Have a listen.
You're so fat they have to jack you up to take off your shoes.
Yeah, well, you're so skinny your eyes are in single file.
Well, you're so ugly your ears stick out to get away from your face.
Well, your mama is
Hold
so...
it, wait a minute. Don't bring anyone mother into this. She ain't here. If it wasn't for your mother, you wouldn't be here. So remember, when you put down one mother, you put down mothers all over the world.
All right, and then he goes into Mr. T's...
This awkward sidestep dance?
This is Mr. T's Bohemian Rhapsody. Really, it's his piece de resistance. Mm-hmm. This is Treat Your Mother Right.
Mother, there is no other like mother, so treat her right. Mother, I always love her, my mother, so treat her right, treat her right. M is for the moan and the miserable groan from the pain that she felt when I was born. O is for the oven with its burning heat, where she stood making sure I had something to eat. T is for the time that she stayed up night and took my temperature when I wasn't feeling right. H is for the hard-earned money she spent to keep clothes on my back and try to pay the rent. E is every wrinkle I put on her face and every worry that I caused when I stayed out late. The last letter R is that she taught me respect, and for the room up in heaven that I know she'll get.
Sorry, I let that go on way too long, but it's brilliant. It's Treat Your Mother Right, and you can find that on YouTube or wherever you like. I don't know if it's on like Spotify, but it should be.
He's such a terrible dancer.
He is, isn't he?
Because he's trying to think about the words and then also, like, yeah. You can just see his brain like, oh, I can't do all these things at once.
And I've got one more little segment here. I actually can't remember. I can't remember what he was doing here, but see if you can work it out.
That's good.
All right.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, you getting there all right. That's pretty good.
What's going on there?
I think that's from one of his private recordings.
So there you go. That's the musical career of Mr. T. That is the end of the episode, which is good because it saves you pressing stop. Because, you know, this is the natural conclusion of your listening capacity, I would imagine.
And the best thing about having these shorter episodes is that we get to play more of the theme that was done by Joel Mack that we often forget to thank.
We do.
But yeah, he did all...
I think we still owe him a carton of beer, don't we?
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But it's only been like 4 episodes.
Well, that's
but
right.
That's almost been like 6 months as well.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah, if you want to suggest something that we can have a look at, you can find us at Retroordinaire on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Lots of great tweets coming in. We might read some of them one day, but not today, and not in the next episode, which we're recording now.
Well, that's it. I want to thank you for hanging out with Mr. T. I'll see you again very soon. I'll be ready whenever you push that rewind button.